Let's go, and I'm going to share this screen, and we'll go into present. So I'm Chuck Boyce, and what we're going to talk about today is how to monetize your knowledge with AI and how to build your AI-powered platform with a white label of deal.ai. Truth about AI is that you won't get consistent results unless you know how to structure it. So it's not magic, it's structure. Coaches, consultants, they jump into tools, they find inconsistent outputs, wasted time, and there's really no structure behind what they're trying to do. And so here I'm going to show you how to build a replicable, a reliable, a scalable AI-powered ecosystem so you can either give this to your clients to, hey, welcome, we're just getting started here. And what we're talking about now is how to monetize your knowledge using the Deal AI platform for building an reliable, scalable, AI-powered ecosystem. Let's see here. Let's go back to my screen. So what you're going to walk away with today is the 6 core components that you're going to use when you're building your AI system. I'll walk through a demonstration and then give you some steps as to what you need to do next. I will also give you some bonus material, a couple of guides to help get you going faster. So I am Chuck Boyce. I'm a founder and AI systems architect. I have created the Engage Craft Suite, which is my version of the white label, and Virtual Focus Pro, which is a virtual focus group. I have over 30 years in systems and automation, and one of the things I like to do is to help smaller businesses understand how to apply systems to making their AI more effective in their business. And so my philosophy is simple. Don't get lost in the hype. Use reality, use what works, use what's needed. Don't overdo anything. Why your expertise stays trapped. So most coaches and consultants, they have some special knowledge that they have. And it may be mostly in their head, but they may have books or processes or frameworks that they teach their clients. One-to-one coaching can't scale beyond what hours you have. There's oftentimes you have so many different tools between course builders and chat tools, payment systems. There's all sorts of tools that get you to not be able to utilize your time effectively. And then you missed AI opportunities without structure. There's just shiny objects. You're chasing things all over the place. You see, hey, I'm going to try this one, try it for a few days. It doesn't work, try something else. And you lose your consistency, you lose your momentum. So if you want to build an AI ecosystem or an infrastructure to support your coaching or consulting or any knowledge-based business, these are going to be the 4 or 6 core components that you can use with a white labeled deal.ai platform. And I'll walk through each of these as we go along. So first is going to be your knowledge base. Knowledge bases are going to be where you take all of your notes, all of your documented procedures, your processes, anything you've written, and you create a collection of stuff. They can be PDFs, they can be spreadsheets, they can be documents, they can be URLs, they can be just handwritten notes, but all of these can be combined. And when you work in the deal.ai world, you can have multiple knowledge bases. And so if you're focusing on some sort of coaching and one part is for finance, you can create a finance knowledge base, and another one may be processes, and you have a process knowledge base. And each of these can be then utilized by other applications that need that specific knowledge. And so these are kind of like an expertise library that your AIs can access instantly, and you can build upon giving your clients the same advice. And so basically you're taking all of your knowledge and making it available to your clients on a 24/7 basis once you give them access to this platform. Organize it in searchable formats. You can reuse it in different templates. You can pull out relevant information that you need. And so you can scale your knowledge without scaling your time. It's available 24/7 to your clients. There's the next thing would be your personalities. Now, personalities are kind of like chatbots, but they're different styles, and each personality can have their own knowledge base. So you can create a professional, or you can create a coach, or you can create an advisor, a tutor. And I'll go through all of these different types when you set them up. But each personality can relate to a different style of teaching or for information outlay based on a different knowledge base. And once we go into it, you'll see how these all interconnect. The next component are communities. And communities, when you create your ecosystem, you have a community that all of your clients, anybody who's logged into your system, can talk to each other, communicate. You can put announcements, you can have people drop posts to each other, just like working within a Facebook group. Very similar idea. It allows you to create content on the fly and have people discuss things between themselves or by yourself if you're the moderator. Component 4 is going to be the chatbot wizard. And when you create chatbots are going to be the little idea that you, little icon on the, normally the bottom right hand corner of your screen, where people can interact and get quick answers. These chatbots can be configured to be a support chat or a sales chat or an integrated. You can have them be interrupted and send them to an email or an appointment calendar. So the chatbots can be very versatile. And not only can they be versatile, but they can also be, they're only a small piece of chat code, a little widget that you can install on any website. And so it doesn't have to be within your platform. You can put this on any website that you have the ability to drop a piece of code into the base section of your code. And so if you have your own websites, it's very easy to drop this chatbot code into it. Next are going to be your custom apps, and this is where your power comes in. And these are niche apps. And so if you've ever worked with ChatGPT or Claude or things like that, you can build within that what are called GPTs or agents or little assistants. And those are basically a bunch of prompts tied together, so it does everything in the background, but you only give your clients a few fields to fill in. And they're very functional, they're very powerful, and this is where you can give more power to your clients based on your custom application, because these applications can then be tied to the knowledge base that you created. Component 6 is your Academy app wizard. And this is where you can create training platforms within your ecosystem. So you can build courses with lessons, and then with those you can attach exams and create certifications. And then you can have interactive lessons, you can attach resources, and it's very easy to build these academies. There's another add-on academy called a live training wizard. And what the live training wizard allows you to do is to link up to your Zoom or whatever platform you're using to do these live recordings. And then you can have a link to the live recording within that. And then if you're recording it, then you can also, once it's recorded, attach the recorded version of your application or your training session. And so your clients can then have access to both the live version if they get there early enough or the recorded version after the case. So those are really the 6 main components that you have within this platform. And there's so many other things that you can use, but these are your base foundation. And so with that, I'm going to switch out of this and go into Deal.ai. So with Deal AI, what you get are a lot of applications. I'm going to move these recording tools out of the way, which you can't see. But anyway, when you get Deal.ai, it's like 80 different applications. And if you look in their app store, you can see these are everything that's available, plus everything that you've created. And so it's overwhelming at first. And so it takes a while to get used to what you want to make accessible. But again, the first things are going to be a knowledge base. And so if I find a knowledge base is where your strength comes in. And here I have a bunch of knowledge bases that I've created, including some for focus groups, including some for special industries. Here's one for roofing construction. Here's one for systems thinking. Here's one for my site. Anytime you go into a knowledge base, I'll use my site as an example. You can attach files. In the PDFs, all you have to do is attach a file, and your files can be PDFs or docs or any other type of information that you want to make available to your clients. You can also add URLs. So any URL, just pop that in, add it, save it. It's part of your system. Manual documents are if you just want to create a quick text document. It's just something on the fly. You can quickly add a manual document, which is just straight text. And then the AI created documents are out of your chatbots. If you want to grab a certain chat and have that part of your knowledge base as part of the system, you can use these AI created documents that are kind of built on the fly. But the main thing you're going to want to use are your files, your URLs, and the manual documents. Once you have those created, again, you can create as many different knowledge bases as you want and use them for different apps and different functions. Let me open the chat here and just follow through. Missed number 3, which is going back, sorry. 3 are communities. Communities are where you just, it's kind of like a Facebook group or something like that, where it's just a way for everybody who's in your system to drop questions, answers. They can communicate with each other or with yourself if you're the moderator. So that's a simple community, which I'll show you in just a second. After you have your knowledge bases created, next thing you want to do is to go into personalities. Let's go find a personality. So an example of a personality are things that I created. So personal branding fundamentals. Let's go into just personalities here. It's not showing up. So I created 4 different personalities here. Again, it's very easy to create a personality. You give it a title, a description. You have to have a logo, so logos are going to be useful. But here's the strength. When you create your personality type, you can make it to be a coach, do marketing research and competitive analysis, be an SEO optimizer, historical feature, a tutor, a debate, a career advisor, a fitness trainer. All of these have different personality types, and so it's going to guide the conversations in different ways depending on the type that you have. And if none of these fit what you're using, you can have a custom personality. Once you create that, then you can give it any other instructions, which are basically a chat, an AI prompt. And so telling it how you want it to react, what tone of voice, what sort of other features you want this personality to act as. Then you attach the knowledge base. You can only have one knowledge base per personality. Now in your settings, you can either make it stay completely on topic, meaning that it will only cover what's within the personality, the instructions, and the knowledge base. Or if you turn that off, it will go off to the internet and add other things and go off into other directions. Mostly you'll want to create a personality that stays within topic. You can then say, do you want the AI to start the conversation, or just go into, have your customer go in and have a base. They start with a prompt and just say, hey, I want to do this and this. Or you can say, with the AI starts, say, hey, I'm a coach and I'm here to help you. Let me know what you want. And that's how that would work. Here, if you have image generation, you can turn it on or you can turn it off. Image generation tends to be a little bit slower, so sometimes you may not want to. I personally don't turn image generation on within a personality. And then when you want to publish it, a few different modes for optimizing. You can either be creative or logical. So those are how you create a personality. To show you an example, I will go into my marketing and view. So when you go in, you have your various chats. Now this one here is, could you tell me more about your business in specific areas? So if I start a new chat, I have this one initiating the conversation. So here it should say, there we go. So hello, I'm your marketing research and competitive analysis coach. And so it's based on business models, target customers. And so say, how do I calculate the ROI on so something simple in a marketing respect, since I have mine trained on a bunch of different marketing ideas, it's going to go through, and this is based on everything that I have in my knowledge base and my personality. Again, I set the personality to be a marketing research and competitive analysis coach. And it's going through right now, and it is going through the knowledge base, and it should come up with an answer. It seems to be a little bit slow today. Normally the response time is a bit faster. So I'm not quite sure why it is being slow, but I'll show you the responses, but it should just come up with the same type of things. Responses. So here I had it write a funny 30-second video script, and so it came up with that. And so did we ever come back here? Oh, here we go. So how do I calculate the ROI on this campaign? It's going through, and it actually gives you a formula of how to calculate ROI. Once this is all done, it should give a complete formula. And so here is what it is responding to as, still typing, how to get ROI. Again, a very basic, simple idea of how to create a personality. Going back here, go to personalities again. So I've created these. An idea that I have here is for a roofing and construction focus group. So if I look into here, what I created here was a knowledge base based on roofing and construction focus. So with this knowledge base, what I added was this roofing and construction. I have a how to conduct a focus group, and then I have a URL of my Engage Craft and a methodology on focus groups. And so now when you'd go into this focus group, going back here, if I were to back and back and back, yeah, personalities. So here I'm saying that this is going to be the instructions that I want. It's going to be a focus group on avatars, and it's going to have this type of functionality, and it's optimized for creativity. It's still in a draft mode, and so if I want to view this, it's going to go through the exact same type of thing. Who's in the group today? It had a list of people are in the group, and then how do you find customers? And it should be able to talk to the people that I have here and get responses from some of those people. Again, I don't understand why it's being a little slow today, but this would be able to interact, and just giving you an idea that you can create a personality to be a focus group or something like that. So it just gives you different ideas on how to utilize a personality. After personalities was the communities. When you create a community, here I have a few different communities that just you can start to post, you can manage your notifications, you can post replies. They're very straightforward. Here's a deal AI. You can pin various posts on top. Here's the questions. You can do your standard. Here's the replies. How many people replied, if you want to reply. So communities are just a way for everybody within your platform to communicate with each other. The next was going to be, let me go back here, after communities was the chatbot. So within the chatbots, you have this chat wizard. With a chat wizard, you can create a new one. So if you want to create a new chatbot, this is going to be just a creative test. And I'll create this. So in this chatbot, you can now start to configure it. So the first thing would be in your AI settings. So here you give it the instructions. Do you want it to be interactive or not? So if you have it being interactive, they can chat with it. Otherwise, you can just give specific knowledge. Here, define how you want it to respond. And then again, select which knowledge base you want your chatbot to be configured for. After you have that, then you have your chatbot settings. You can give it a name, whether you want to open initially, if you want it to start the conversation, how you want it to start the conversation, and then if you want to use it for lead follow-up. If you want to collect name and collection, here you say only when it wants to connect to a human. You can say right at the beginning, what's your name and email in case we get disconnected. And then we can have the after a certain number of messages. And so if you want to say after like 3 messages, are you sure you don't want to provide your name and address? We can get back and talk more. And so this would be how you would configure your chat agent. And then once you have that chat agent configured, then you have this little bit of snippet. And so this little bit of code here, all you have to do is copy it to a clipboard, and then you paste it into your website head or body. Once you do that, then it shows up on your screen down in this corner, and your chatbot looks like that. So, sorry, going back to the chat wizard. The chats are very easy to use and build. I'll show you an example of mine that I just showed you. I go into the AI settings first. I'm saying, welcome. Hi, welcome to our site. Is there anything you want to know? Here's it's inform the users that it can answer any questions about pricing, history, providing a summary, offer detailed explanations, give it pricing details, highlight it. And so these are the instructions that I have created for this chatbot. And then I have it attached to my website. If I go into the chatbot settings, saying how can I help you, I have a little chatbot icon. It's only when connected to a human agent, and so this isn't going to ask you for a name and email address, but I can have this attached to my Cibi Creative website, or I can have it to my EngageCraft website, which are both separate websites, but I can have the same chatbot just by pasting that little piece of code into the header. I can put this onto any website that I want. So that is your chatbot feature. The next feature is going to be the custom apps. And again, this is where your real power lies. In the app wizard, you have a lot of functions. And these are all of the apps that I have created throughout my experience. And there are a lot of them. Some are in draft mode, some are in published. But you can see I've spent a lot of time creating various apps. I'll show you some. There's going here, creating a new app. So you have 2 different modes. You can do a standard app, and this is where you have to fill out everything. There's a lot of stuff here. It's kind of versatile, but it's a lot easier to use the AI enhanced version. All you have to do is give it an app name and what you want the app to do. Now, when I create these apps, what I do ahead of time is to go into an LLM like ChatGPT or Claude and say, I want to have an app that does this. It has these features, and then it will create a prompt. Once it creates that prompt, then you can paste that prompt into what you want the app to do. You can also just type something in and slowly work on it as you go along, but I find it's a lot more efficient to use an LLM to create the prompt for you and then work with it afterwards. Again, you can select a knowledge base to go along with this. So I will use one for an example. One of the more recent ones, storyteller. I go into this one. I used the AI enhanced mode, and then that gave me a customized app. So this is called Storyteller, and what I did was I asked for a prompt to use Donald Miller's story brand framework, craft a highly efficient story based on the campaign details, gives you all of the instructions of what it needs to do, a quick description. I gave it a logo, and I'm using a marketing and business knowledge base. If I go and continue on with this, it will go through and it will create all of this stuff. And so you can see here, it made this of what it's going to do. It tells what fields you want to have filled in. It gives different sections. And this was all built automatically. So now if I go in and preview, you can interact with it. You can start giving it prompts and say, well, I don't really know if I want it to do this. And so here, for example, it doesn't really give a description. So if I want to say that I want to, no, it said it did that, but here's what I really wanted it to do was to add descriptions for each box. And I put that in there, and it should go through and it's processing the request. It should give me an updated version of this in a preview mode. And in the background, these apps use a number of different tools, different LLMs in the background, and they constantly change them and modify them and try to use the most efficient. And but for some reason, everything is really slow today, and I know that they do a lot with OpenAI. OpenAI yesterday just had a big update with a bunch of new tools, and I think that they are getting a little overloaded. But this used to be stuff that took weeks and weeks to do, and so now I get frustrated when it takes more than a few minutes. But this will eventually come back with these updates to this application. It's just taking a little slow today, and I don't want to spend time doing that. And so I'm going to go back here and look at another app. Some of the earlier ones that I created was a social post generator. So what your apps look like once you create one, if I go and view this, it's going through and it's saying create a social post for Facebook. So this is something that, which platform do you want? I want a LinkedIn professional, and I want to talk about the latest ad advances in generative AI. So if I do that, what it's going to do is it will go through and saying it's about 1 minute and 17 seconds. And so this is now creating a LinkedIn post in a professional tone talking about the latest advances in generative AI. What it'll end up doing is not only giving you a post, but it should have hashtags associated with that and an image. And so it's not only generating the post itself, but where a lot of this time is being taken right now is in the image creation aspect. And let's see if it really does take 45 seconds or if it's still being slow. And again, I don't know if you're into a lot of social posting, but this is just one option of how to really improve the speed of your workflow. And so here is a social media post for LinkedIn based on the latest advances. So from chatbots to autonomous multimodal agents, generative AI is shifting from pilot to production fast. Talks about RAG, which is regenerative augmented generation, retrieval augmented generative AI, which means that it's going to take things out of your knowledge base and generate it based on those documents that you have that it's being retrieving. So it gives you some visual suggestions. It gives you the ability to ideas for A/B testing, gives you the best cross-platform adaptations, and then it gives you an image. Now, their text-based images tend to not be that great. And so this works much better if you don't have text associated. So for example, yeah, even here, gave a bunch of breakdown of, here is, if I look at what the post was, this was a LinkedIn conversational post, take a break during the holidays, make a last push before the end of the year. And so it said, here's, and we approach the end of the year. It gave a visual suggestion that you could then take and put into an image generator. Gives you some A/B testing ideas, adaptation for other platforms, and it created a general image. Here's some suggested hashtags. So yes, this is a real great time saver for creating social posts. And this is just one of them. And as you can see, I created my version of this to help people with their marketing and stuff like that. So I've created things like cold email writers and Facebook ad writers, marketing calendars, how to write ebooks and blogs. And so I've created a lot of different types of things, which I'll show you in a second what my platform looks like. So going back to the presentation, after the apps, the last thing was the Academy app wizard. So going back into here, there's two different app wizards. The Academy app wizard is one where you create an academy. You just give it a name, a description, and a logo. Very simple. That's your first academy. Once you go into your academy, then you have the option of adding various lessons. So the first thing is to add a course. Give a course title, you give it a video link, any resources that you want to attach to that, and you do a create. So your resources can be files, can be links, or you can add your lessons to this. So for example, here is my intro. So if I edit this lesson, it has a YouTube link and a summary, but I didn't have any actions, call to actions, and I don't have any resources available to that. So I created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different courses, and within each one, so for video apps, I have one lesson within that video app. For writing, I have 13 videos. For utility apps, I have 3. And so this just gives you an idea of how you can create your courses. Once you have a course created, then you can go through and you can turn on whether you want progress tracking. So you can only go from 1 to 1 and it will say which ones you've gone through and what percentage. You can choose whether you want it to look like a list, which looks like that, or you can have it in the version that I had, which was going back here into a grid. If you turn on exam and certifications, you can now create a template of your name of your certification, what its subtitle is, what their content is, any footer text, upload logos, backgrounds. And so here's how you can create certifications for your courses. Again, this gives you the ability to charge for these courses or not. Give them to your clients, but you can create your own certifications based on your knowledge and your offerings. So you have the ability now within your academy or your platform, you start with a knowledge base, You build a personality to help people out, or multiple personalities. You have a community where everybody can communicate with each other. You can create chatbots, which you can put on other sites to tell them to go to your, or just be useful support chatbot. And then you powerfully can create your custom applications and your training materials. So outside of that, I think that's really going to be about it. So we talked about knowledge bases, personalities, communities, chatbots, and academies, and the path forward. So going forward, I basically have three options. I have my own, which is under Engage Craft. And so if I go to my home screen, this is my personality, my chatbot that I created, or my white label. And so in my white label, the other option that you have is to specify what options. So when I mentioned at the beginning, if you're, this is on the Deal AI platform, and when you create your white label, you can add whichever one, as many of the deal apps as you want, and you can rebrand them. And so I'll show you here. Here is my training materials that I created. I took two of the trainings that were available within the Deal platform, and then I created another one for these AI and in our webinars that I'm doing. So last week I did one from hype to practical use, and so it had a registration link, and you could add it to your calendar. And within this, it also has the recorded version. So here is a recent call, and so within this is the recorded version from last week. And so now you can have not only the ability to register within your platform, but also review all of the previous versions or recorded versions. Also, here is my tutorials. So this is the academy that I created, and that is available to everybody on this platform. Here is a personality that I created for doing market research. This is all your marketing answers. Then we have, going back into here. Here's the community that I showed you. And the apps that I created, I categorized them into various sections. So for research, I have created apps for a brand aid and trend analysis and market analysis. The brand aid, for example, what I do is you tell people your business name, the primary goal of the business, what your industry, your niche, what your primary target audience, and your location if you're doing it for local. And it will come up with a tagline, a mission statement, a business description, a one-liner, an elevator pitch, your target audience, your unique selling perspective, keywords that you can use for your social media or for any marketing that you're doing. And so again, you can take any business and quickly get all your business assets you need to start marketing. That's just one example of a custom application. Strategy, the same way. Startup evaluators, looking at business architects, architecting it, how to do a product launch. Copywriting, very similar. Bunch of different tools for writing landing pages, writing email sequences, generating social posts. Now, when you get into the content, here's where I'm actually using relabeling or remarketing, rebranding the Deal apps. And so I have one app that I created for content ideas. And so for content ideas, what type of content do you want? Do you want a podcast, a webinar, a virtual sales letter, an ebook? So you type in the type that you want, what your topic is going to be, who your audience is going to be, what pain points are being addressed, and what's the goal. And then finally a voice. So here, for example, I said I want a virtual sales letter for fractional leadership. I'm targeting law firms and corporations. I'm dealing with companies that need experienced leadership but can't afford it. The whole purpose is going to be for generating leads and do it in a professional. And so here it gives 10 impactful ideas on creating VSLs. Gives you a title, a description of the VSL, its value proposition, and how to execute that. And so instantly, here's 10 ideas on creating a virtual sales letter. If you want to do something else again, you want an idea for creating a podcast or a webinar or an ebook or video or even social media, this is a way to just put a few different topics in, and it will give you 10 ideas for that platform. Once you get into that content, then you can go in, and I created a podcast architect, a webinar architect, blog writers, ebook writers, and video script writers. Video script writer, for example, here's one that says that I want an educational one on the ultimate guide to simplifying business operations. It's for business owners. Call to action is going to be join our program, make it 15 minutes. So here it gives an entire virtual video sales letter, the introduction to it, an overview, and then the script as to how that visual or video sales letter should look. So again, very easy to create a lot of content. And this is who I was targeting for 3 different areas. I have 3 different directions, one to content creators, one for market research, and one for people who are developing no-code apps. Going back into the deal apps that I created, I used their logo maker. I created an icon maker. They have image makers, promptography, which is a hyper-realistic videos or images, precision image models, conversational images. Precision image model is a very interesting one. What this precision image model does is first of all, you train your model. And to train the model, it actually is $6 to create it, because what you're doing is you take up to anywhere from 8 to 30 different selfies from different angles, different lighting. You can wear different clothes, but you want to give a bunch of different views of your face or your body, full body, headshots, whatever. You get 8 to 15 or 8 to 30 different images, and then you train it. Once you have your image trained, then you can start generating images. So for example, I created this of me. I took a bunch of different images of myself, different angles, and here is an image of, I can look at the prompt. I want a photo of Chuck sitting comfortably at a table in a cafe with a MacBook and a cup of coffee next to him, looking up ready to greet a client. And so this is not a photo of me, this is a composition. So just different ideas on how to create them, different aspect ratios. And what's really cool about this is now that once you have this image, you can download it and use a different type of option. So I'm going to do a PNG of this. And now I can go into another video called an AI spokesperson. So with an AI spokesperson now, I'm going to create a new project. And for the script, you can put in a script, but I'm not going to put in a script. I'll show you one that I had created. But once you have your script in, then you can add your voiceover, you can add the avatar, you can generate it and get results. And so I'll go to the deal platform and do that same app, which is where was it? Precision app, school shopping. Which one was I wanted? Yeah, spokesperson. Here we go. So here are some that I've created to show you. Here's one that I took this image of a doll with a microphone and said the script I had was big message, small package. I'm literally a doll giving a speech potion. So this was one image I created with hyper-realistic images. And then it created
big message, small package. I'm literally a doll giving a keynote right now. And you can make the same thing happen with just one picture. Write a script, drop it in, and your photo's talking in minutes. Imagine pitching your business, explaining an idea, or just going viral. Without ever being on camera, do it today at engagecraftsuite.com.
Okay, so that is just, again, I created the script,
big
found
message.
the image, I did a talking dog, a talking penguin.
Yep, I'm a card.
Here
Look,
I did,
I'm not here to sugarcoat it. Everyone's running.
Everyone's chasing AI like it's a shiny.
Every week AI is moving faster. The question So these are all single images, but creating 30 to 60-second videos that you could use on anything. You can do them in a
Big message,
portrait
small
mode
pack.
for your Reels or TikToks. You can do
Every
it
week,
in
Aegon.
a landscape mode for putting onto your websites. And so creating a video spokesperson, again, I just created all sorts of them. You can use cartoon characters. You can use realistic. Here's one that I had just some weird little character. But you're really open to anything that can have a mouth, and you can have it be your spokesperson. Create that, and you can upload your own audio and things like that. So that just gives you an example of how you can use these different tools. So I made those tools available in mine, even though I haven't used them in this area. So again, out of all of the apps, you have that ability to create any of the deal apps and rebrand them as your own. And so if your clients are into content creation, you can give them any of these tools, and it's much less expensive than getting the full deal platform because you can price them. So when you get into your app, when you white label it, what you can do is you go into your settings, and the first thing you do is you apply it to a domain. You can give it a logo and give it the site name. And then if you want to enable APIs to attach to Stripe or do any payment plans or into Zapier to talk to other applications, it does have an API that you can do that. In here, you select which apps you want to be part of your platform. And again, most of these, I think I have 25 of my own apps, and I think I added about 18 of the deal apps. And so you just specify which ones you want. You can use this up and down tool to focus where you want it to be on your desktop. You can add a video. If you have a video training, you can add a video to it, and you can put it into a folder if you want to organize it in that respect. As you can see on mine, I have all sorts of folders. And so this is what the folder concept is. If you look at the deal version is in a whole desktop. And I've removed a lot of them. And so really, there is one other way that you can do that if you want to. Let's go back to here and settings. And in the customization, you have the ability to turn it into either the app layout or a website layout. So if I save this now as a website layout, and I go back to my home screen and refresh it, now it comes up in a mode that has all of my folders off to the side. And so if I want to go into my research, here's the brand aid, it's always going to be off to the side. And so if you want a web view, if you want an app view, this is just a way to customize how you want your white label to look. You can set all your colors. You can set what kind of backgrounds you want. You can add tracking code. There's a lot of places that you can make changes to how you want your white label to look. When you go into the monetization, well, first of all, the next thing after your apps, I got a little sidetracked here. But once you have your app selected, then you can also create roles. And you can create roles and you can add different apps to different roles. And so this allows you to create different pricing sequences or schemes. So for example, I'm charging $49.99 a month to get access to everything on my white label. I'm charging $19.99 a month to just get content, or just get the app builder apps, or just get the business apps. And so I have 3 different roles at $19.95, or I can charge $49.99 for all of them. In your monetization area, you have the ability to charge for individual apps. So once they're in, if you have a really nice app that's super powerful, you can even have them add an additional price to that app. You can white label your own white label. And so if you want to start selling this to other people and have them make it available, you can white label it and have how much you want to charge for them to white label it. You can affiliate it. You can have them what your sign-up price is going to be, and then how much they get. An affiliate gets 50%. And so you can have people sell your platform and give them a commission on that. If you turn on the team mode, people can add team members, and then you can set the pricing for how much additional you can get for adding team members. You have the ability to enable domain purchases if you're into anything like selling websites or wanted to create AEO funnels or things like that. You have the ability to resell domains through the Deal Domain app. They have an email app. You can resell that as your own. They have a business phone app that you can resell as your own. So all of these things, and then the precision image model, which I showed you, is something also that you can sell. So again, you have different pricing ways to monetize how you want to do that. So your white label, here's how you make money off it. The automation, I don't have any automations right now, but then stats will show you for the last 30 days, how many users, how many different apps are being used, how often. And so this just will give you the ability to track your most popular apps, make changes. You can go in, change people's, give them different roles, give them credits if you have credits available. You can remove accounts, change passwords, and verify. So you have full control over your users and how you want to look. And so that's really what I wanted to cover today. If you have any questions, happy to answer via chat, but that is in general. What I'm going to do is in the chat give you a link to, let's see, a few different links. Let's go into this one. First of all, the guides that I said would be available, and I'll also email this out to everybody who's registered. This is a Google Share Drive that has a, let's see here, I don't have this, so let me go into docs.google, oops, that's not what I wanted, that's back into Gamma, docs.google, let's go to my drive overall. So in this Monetize webinar, there are 3 different files. One is a copy of this presentation. There's a monetization guide, and there is a builder guide. And so if I go back to my presentation, what I was going to say is that we can do this with you with this additional link that I will now put in. This is my affiliate link for deal.ai, which is $10 off, so you can get it for $39 a month instead of $49 a month. And then the white label is going to be an additional $19 a month. And so realistically, it's about $69 a month to build your platform. And then every user that you add is an additional $6. And so again, $6, you can charge users whatever you want to get in, or you can give it to them free and eat that $6, but every user is going to be an additional $6. So basically $70 a month plus $6 per user to host your own AI platform. I can do this with you, have weekly implementation calls, you have access to me, help you build the design, help you walk through, train you as you're going through, or I can get all the information and do the full setup for you. So you can do it yourself, you can do it with me, or have me do everything. Or the other option is to just purchase my EngageCraft suite, which is a little video here. Here's my reasons, 3 different roles: content, business, and app builder. And like I said, content, $19 a month or $125 a year. The business builder, the app builder, or all of the above. And so use mine, build your own, help me build it, or I can build it for you. And so there's lots of different options if you're interested in building your own AI platform. And that is everything that I wanted to cover today. So again, thank you for showing up. If you have any questions in the chat, I'll happily answer that. Otherwise, again, thank you for showing up. And that is what I have. You're welcome, Gail. Enjoy the rest of your day, and that is what we have. Bye.